All right. All right. All right. We're back. It is COMP308. It's the winter of 2017 semester. And we are week 5, part 4 of our broadcast, ladies. And what we're doing now is we're just patching up that last part that we were talking about before, right? So notice we did this piece here. And what I want to do now is the piece that we're missing, right? Which is the add, right? Now, remember, in order for us to do the add, we need to have a couple of things here. In our index.ejs, we need to include some kind of button, right? So that's the first thing. So let's go back there. So first of all, we need to have a way to get there, right? So inside of my views, inside of my index.ejs and my games, right? Now we have this, but we don't, above the form itself, you know, above the games list, let's say, what we want to do somehow, or maybe underneath the games list, what we want to do is somehow add a button, right? So we're going to say kind of one of these. Oops. We want to add a tag with, and then we're going to say something like this, games, and then what we want to do is add. That's going to be the route that we're going to do, right? It's going to be a button. And what we want to do is something like add a game, right? Add a game, right? That's what we're doing. And let's make this look like a button, just like this is looking like a button, right? This roll of button and blah, 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 right? I want to do something like this, class button primary. So we want that. So copy this just to make it look like a button. And it doesn't matter where we put it. Definitely, as long as it looks like a regular thing. My href has got to be somewhere. My button, I want to definitely do this, right? This part right here. And I want to put this, instead of delete or add or whatever, I want to put this in here for my my button. So instead of add a game, it's going to be in here. And what I want to do is some kind of plus, right? I think it's plus. So it's add a game, right? And then it should work just like this. Let's see what we get when we go back to our list here. So again, I'm going to refresh the list, add a game, right? So when I click the add a game, it's going to take us to my games add, right? That's where it's going to go. Now it says the site can't be reached, right? Okay, oh yeah, well, because basically we have an issue, right? We have an issue. Refresh here and try that again, right? Localhost page isn't working. How come it crashed? Right, it's doing all this. It's saying it's actually my stuff is crashing. It's a different thing. So I'm going mongoose cast to object ID failed for value add at path ID. Well, hold on. I mean, I don't need ID, right? But I'm going games add. I'm getting that error. So just FYI, we're getting that right away. The other thing is I want a bit of a space between these two things. For now, it's okay the way it looks, but eventually we're going to reformat this. Not today. All right. So now this is the one. So this gives me a list of the link that I want. Right. So add a game. Now I need to do the routing. And in the routing, we have to be very careful of the time. But in our routes, inside of our games route, right, we don't have any way of handling the GET requests. So that's the first part. So again, we can guess that it's going to look very similar, right, to what we've seen already. So if you look at the route that we already have, right, that's the stuff that we want to kind of look at as it is. So it's just one moment while I adjust. Right, so here's the route that I want to see, and it's going to be very similar, right? So I want to get this. I want to still, you know, pass in something for the title, right? And by the way, do you understand why I'm getting that issue? I'm going to first of all, there's no root, right? But let's get the same thing. So I want to get the same idea of my ad. My ad's not going to look like the get. It's not going to have an ID because I don't have an ID for this yet, right? Let's write this thing from scratch. So here's my edit, and here's my update, and down here we're going to do this thing as an ad, right? So how does it look? Well, we're definitely going to do, you know, get the ad page, right, which saves the new game, right? That's what it does. And then we're going to do something like this, okay? That's what it's supposed to do, or show the blank. Actually, what it should do, show the blank details page. Show the blank. That's what our goal, details page, right? Okay, so what does it do? So router.get, right? We're going to pass in the route, which is the add, right? Notice I don't have to put games add, just add, right? And then the function that we want to do, right? So think about what we're doing here when we do the add. We're going to do a anonymous function with request, response, and next. That's all the same with the fat arrow, right? So this is this part. This is the get. And inside the get request, what I want to do is I want to res.render right away the articles, right? Not articles, we'll say games dot add, right? That's what's going to happen here, the add page, right? That's what I want to do. But is it games? What am I rendering? So if I go to my my view, which is down here, so games index, games details. There we go, details. That's what I'm rendering. Games details page, right? And what I want to do is in my render details, I want to pass in an object, right? And here's where we get a little funky. I want you to help me out here, right? That's all we're doing. We're just passing in an object. What's the object going to look like? It's going to be the name, the title. We need that. Add a new game, right? Add a new game, right? And we also have to pass, and we have a responsibility to pass in other things in there. Like, for example, the game itself. So games has to be something that I add in, but what do I add in there? Could it be this? Careful. What this gives you might not be what you're looking for, right? Let's see. So we're going to do this part first. So it's going to show me this. And let's see if we get an error now. Go back to here, and we'll see that this is restarted, right? And we're going to go back to our page, and we're going to refresh the page in case, and we'll click add a game. Oh, man. What the hell happened? How come it's doing that? Right? It says, I did. It says connection refused. It says games add, and it just, you know, I got my ad in there, and it's trying to go to details. What's really happening is exactly what we had last time. It's crashing. Why would it be crashing? Here's what's happening. Let's trace it. So I'm saying scripts lib, and then cast to object ID failed for value add at path ID. Am I looking? How come I'm looking there? Add. I have nothing to do with an ID, right? Path ID is nothing. There's no path ID. I'm just doing an add. How come? Do I have to position it somewhere else? Like, what if I change the position order? So should that matter? Like, if I put it up here, would it make a difference? Well, first of all, it would be underneath my main game, right? So if I was going to put it somewhere, theoretically I should put it there. Is what you're saying, right? If that was the case, but my router's not even getting there. Like, it's doing this piece, then this is the next part, the post, and it's closing off down there, and somehow it's requesting me that I have something else going on. So let's try if we can get there now. So go back here, refresh. We're getting our games. Add a game. I'm just putting it out there, guys. Putting it out there, right? You have to think of why it's working the way it's working. Okay. Now this is exactly what I wanted, right? However, when I click submit, right? What is it going to try and do? Edit, because I don't have a button for this. Now we do the switching in our functions, right? So now we're going to go back into our details EJS and fix this problem. Because right now this button at submit is always going to add, right? Or always edit, right? Because, well, is it though? Hold on a second. It just says post. It doesn't tell me where to go. Right? I got there through an add. This is the add, right? Notice what it says here. It's going to go back and post to the add. So do I have to change anything? So let's do this. Let's do this. So we have to change a damn thing here. Nothing has to be changed, right? The only thing that has to happen is inside of my content pages or in my route. Going back to my routes again. Here's my game route. Down in here, when we get down and dirty, right, into this part here, we need to make the post now, right? So we're going to take the post, which is going to be like the other post that we did, but slightly different, right? So here's where it's the same. First of all, we want to do a post, right? That's the thing we want to do. for the add page, which actually does the saving, save the new game, right, to the database. That's what it's going to do. It's giving me some funky response. We're going to do a router.post. What we're going to do is we're going to say when we go to the add, right, the add route, we're going to do the following. We're going to say we're going to go to a request, response, and next. We're going to do the same thing that we normally do with our anonymous callback. There it is. There's our post. So it's going to be, we're going to handle the post request now when I click the page. And I want to do the following. I want to do creation now, which is totally different. I want to say my games, is it game or games? Again, going back up here, look, just to be if you're confused, right? Game creation, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say game dot, right, create. And inside there, what we're going to do is we're going to take the body of the information that we get from our, from where we're coming from. So I'm going to go down here for a second. Here's my game.create, right? Just to see this for a second. And what would be in here? Well, I want to do what I had before. I want to do a game, again, schema, right? Which is the request.body.name. That's all the same stuff. And then our cost, which is the request.body.cost. And then we're going to do our rating, which is going to be, we're going to fix that. We have a problem. I already have a problem. Rating is our request.body.rating. And that's it, right? We just have to do this and get rid of this and put in a colon instead of that. That's what we're creating. We're creating an object. Now, can I do this differently? Yeah, I can do this, right? Down here, when we did this post, I can create a new game, right? I can create a new game and then pass that in, right? But the ID would be funky. I just wouldn't tell the ID I wouldn't pass in because I don't need it. So couldn't I do this here? I could. I'm not going to though. I'm going to show you two different. This is the other way of doing it, where I'm actually doing it physically inline. This object I'm making, I could pass in the game object instead, right? And we're going to optimize this later. So that's the first part. So article.create does this, passes in the information that I want, but it also allows me to do, just in case it doesn't work, I can have an anonymous function that passes in the error, right? Here's my error, and the game itself, right? Which is this, the game that I'm kind of creating. The anonymous function itself is going to do the following. So here's request, right? So I'm trying to do the creation. Here's the promise. If the creation fails, on error, do something else. What is it going to do? Well, if there's an error, again, then what I want to do is I want to say console log the error out. It's just like we normally do. Actually, I'll call it error, like we've been using error, ERR, as opposed to error. And I'll do the same thing. Not because I couldn't call it whatever I want. Console log the error and res, like we said, .end the error, right? Whatever that is. Okay. And then if that's true, else res redirect, right, back to the game page, right? And that's your ad. Done. Let's see if it works. Right, we just did a bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to go back, right, refresh, go add a game. I want to make a new game. So we'll call it Fallout 2. No, that's No Man's Sky. How about Battlefield 1? Battlefield 1. The cost of the game is $79.99, and the rating seems to be something like 4.7. Right? And submit. There it is. And we're good to go. No, Fallout 4. We changed that before, but that's good. Battlefield's in there, so we've done that. Okay, now we've done everything except for delete, and then we're done for today. All right. How do I delete this thing? What do I do to make this work? So I want to click the delete button, but I want to only delete the game that I'm clicking. Right. So this goes back to, again, formatting again. First, we got to change our index page, right? Because if we don't change the index page, we can't do the delete right now. So this goes back to what we talked about before. So if I go back to my my views for my index page, right? When I do the delete, okay, I got to think about what I'm doing, right? How am I going to delete this thing at all? Is there a way of deleting my page? How do I do that? Well, I want to definitely pass in the DID for deletion, right? That's what I'm going to do. I'm passing the delete. It's got to find the thing to delete, right? So that's number one. So what's the date that how am I going to delete this thing, right, when it comes to this thing? So how do I do that? Anyone have an idea? Well, it's kind of right in here. I've already done it, kind of, right? So here's my games index, right? And down in here where I have my delete, here's my delete button. I want to pass in inside my URL, here, I'm going to go to games, but now we got a problem. What do? I want to delete, but I want to delete my ID. I want to pass in this information to delete, right? If I click this, right, it's just going to go and try and edit, right? So what do I do now? Like I need to do the same thing. Hey, I want to do the same thing, but I want to delete here, right from here. Anyone have an idea? Anyone have a clue? Huh? Come on, guys. Good. So I could do something like this. So games delete, right? And then pass in the ID, this stuff here, because I want to definitely delete that, right? But this is something that's going to happen. I'm not going to have a get. How do I post from here? Is there a way of posting my delete, right? Does it? I'm going to do one of these. I'm going to pass in this information, right? So I'm passing this into my delete. So that's what's happening right now. Let's see what I get here on the page. So I go back to the page, refresh the page, and now I can see that I'm deleting this thing here, games delete, and then something else. So now I've got to go back into my routing, right? So I've set up my route. It works. I'm going to go into my games routes. And I've got this add, update kind of thing. And now somewhere on the bottom, I want to do my delete, right? So how do I do that? I got to set that up as a get, right? Because I'm doing a get request right now. Route post, and then I want to do something, right? So this is I want to get my delete, right? Get delete, which should delete by ID, right? That's what it should do. Should it be a delete? Can I do a game? Sorry, a router.get, right? And I want to put in /delete /ID, right? That should be the delete, right? Because it's the same thing that I've done up here with my my get, and then request, response, and next. That's all the same stuff we had before. So request, response, and next. Oops. Next. And then we're going to go into the anonymous function in here that we're going to do. So this get is what I want to do the deletes with, right? I want to be able to delete my my game, right? I want to be able to do that. I don't need even a delete page to go to somehow, though, right? I don't need a delete page. I just want to get the delete done and redirect me back. That's what I want to happen, right? So the routing, it's all going to happen at the routing level, where I do my deletion right from the get-go. So how does it work? You know, how am I able to delete everything? Well, it's a get, and it's exactly what I said, right? And I need still to do the same thing. I need to do this thing where I go, I still want to do this, where I'm letting the ID, because I want to get a reference to the object that I'm getting, right? So I'm going to kind of do this. Don't worry, Ellie, you didn't miss anything. I'm running late from the other class because of we have a little survey today, which kind of threw me off. What I want to do is I want to do games.remove, right? So I want to do. And it's not games.remove, it's game.remove. Game.remove. And what I want to do is I want to pass in what I'm searching for again. Remember we're doing a search? Well, I'm searching for ID, which is from ID. That's the actual value, right? So that's what I'm searching for. Remember when we did a delete on Mongo, we have to sort what do you want to delete? I want to delete something based on my ID. The next is I want to pass in the error, right? If there's an error, same ID that we did before, right? Then I want to do something with that, right? So I want to test for that. If there's an error trying to delete or connect to the database. So if error, and I'm going to do the same thing. Console log the error out, whatever that error is, right? And then do a res.end with the error, right? That's the first thing. Else, here's in the else statement. What I want to do is I want to do the rest. I want to redirect, res.redirect, right? So I'll just do the delete, back to games. Now there's a danger here. We have to clean this up next time. I'm not going to do it this time, but I want you to think about it. That's it. That's the delete, right? So it's going to take delete. It's going to look at the ID. It's going to read the ID of the user I'm going to delete, or the game, the article, the to-do, whatever kind of database you're making, right? It's going to pass it in. I'm going to kind of pass it in here, just like we did before. Look through and just delete anything that has this ID. I can search for multiple terms, by the way. So I can go, I want to look at from the ID is this, plus the name is this, plus whatever, or things that are all greater. I want to delete all terms that are greater than $79. I want to get rid of my expensive games, right? I can do that, right?
You want to also redirect.
Marcel's birthday today. Okay, yeah. Is it what? No, I want to end, and this is going to take me back, right? Let's see what happens, actually. So let's see. I want to actually stop if there's an error. Because what this does, it returns anyway. It returns back, right? But the res redirect happens if everything's successful, right? So there's no error, then things are successful, redirect, right? Let's try this out. So I'm going to refresh, and I want to get rid of Fallout 3. Let's say I don't like Fallout 3, although I think it's better than Fallout 4. Let's just get rid of it. We click delete, and then it's done. And if I refresh, everything's grand. Okay, great. I got my deletion happening. Let's try it up online, and we're done for the day. So I added in my delete. You see what the problem is? Yeah. Added, we should add and delete functionality. Oh, no, it's been deleted. There's a problem, though, it's more of a user interface semantic problem as opposed to a physical problem, right? Did I push it? I did. So now, well, it kind of is a post. Hi.
Hi. So we're going to come in on 1:30.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. That's all I wanted to do.
I'll just open up and then I'll let you guys do it. All right. So first of all, I know that this should be pushed out to Azure. Here's my Azure. And this is the old way of how it looked, the user side. Let's refresh and see if I can get kind of a more, normal look. And I'm going to try and do both on both sides. Now, Heroku and Azure should all work. Uh-oh. Well, no, there's no games list, right? Games list has been destroyed. Here's my game list. Got our edit and delete. Notice we have their other games here. Let's add a new game. This is now the global ad. So when I add a new game, yeah, we'll say Battlefield, exactly. Battlefield 1, right? With a cost of $79.99. By the way, shouldn't $79.99 be a dollar figure in front of it on the list? Probably. How do we show that? What formatting do we have to use? Rating is the rating. I think the rating is 4.7. I want to click submit, right? And then we added the game, right? There's Battlefield 1. Nice submission, right? You know what? I don't like Overwatch somehow. I want to get rid of it. But we don't want to get rid of it here. We'll do it on Heroku, right? It's to show you that Heroku still works. Here's Heroku, right? The which?
We should delete it on Overwatch.
Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll say Overwatch, we're going to get rid of it, right? It's gone, right? And if I go, that's how fast it was. And if I go back to here and refresh, then it's gone. So now you'll see real-time stuff, right? So now you have your full CRUD. So you've got we did create, read, update, delete today. Next week we're gonna handle authentication and fix some of my user problems, my user issues. One of the user issues that I honestly, yeah, tell me. Not really. It refreshes automatically for me, right? When I go to that page, it'll just show me the update, right? So that's fine. But here's the thing that I have a problem with. Users should be able to delete so easily. I can delete like 2 seconds, it's gone. There should be some kind of warning that, are you sure? This is the only time that I recommend something like an alert. Okay, I hate to tell you this. I don't like alerts, right? But when it comes to deletion of information, there should be some kind of funky thing that says, are you sure? Right? It could be an alert. It could be a popover. It could be whatever. Some kind of way of confirming with the user that you want to delete, right? That's what you want to do. Any questions around that? So that's it for CRUD operations. We've done everything. We've got a nice little funky thing, and I'm going to do it again for the second class. But I wanted to point out that we've kind of done full circle. So here we've gone home, which is probably have some kind of welcome screen here. We will eventually have. Our games list is shaping up to be this with some nice formatting and everything else we've got going on. And we've got our contact page, which still needs to be worked on. We talked about SendGrid. And again, next week, we're going to make this thing up to a proper games list. Next week, you won't be able to see the games list at all. The games list, my hope is you can't even see this thing. All you're going to see is login. When you log in, right, if you're successful, it's going to take you to the games list, right? If not, it'll redirect you to the login. If you're not registered as a user, it'll send you to the registration page, right? And that's what we want to kind of accomplish next week, okay? If we can do all that, then your exam will have full CRUD with authentication of how to do that. I'll just give you something else to make, okay? I'm also going to give you your assignment 2 next week, not this week, okay? Questions for the first class? Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. And we'll go to the second class now.